just so you know that it's up and running. And Taylor, can you tell on your end if it is recording?
Yep, you're recording.
It is. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've got that going. And just keep in mind, guys, that a percentage of this course is going to be marked on participation. I'll explain, the grading system in a minute. But, for the most part, we're going to be having live lectures like this. I don't tend to pre-record. I like the interaction, and the nature of this content on project management really does require that kind of interaction as well. But if I do happen to get called away, I'm running a firm, I'll make sure the lecture is pre-recorded and that it's posted online. But I'll give you advance notice if that's the case, and then you can manage your time. I'm going to be using a third-party platform from time to time called Mentimeter. I don't know if you guys have used that or you're familiar with it. Usually when we're on a Zoom, you can get it on your phone. You just type in menti.com, menti.com, and it will bring up a page. I'll give you a code to put in, and then once you get in there, there'll be questions that you guys can answer, and I'll be using that in a few minutes as well. So just keep your phones handy. And lastly, pets are allowed if you want to sit on your lap or just hang around. My dog is called Buddy, and he's usually by my side here, especially when there's thunder outside. He's not here now, but I'll introduce you to him later. He's biggish, but he's really awkward on camera as well, so it might be hard. So that's it. Maybe, Taylor, if there's any other comments on Zoom or things that maybe I've missed that you would like to mention, I'll give you a chance to go ahead.
That's great. I think you got them all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, terrific. I didn't think that would happen, to be honest. I thought first time doing it, so I've been practicing. Okay, great. So I just like also to introduce, if you see in the participant list, somebody called Asha, who's on our class call. And Asha is a fourth-year international development and business student from York University. She's going to be helping me with TA logistics support for the semester, especially on these calls, just to monitor, because it's kind of new, just to monitor the chat, make sure I don't miss any questions or comments as we go along. Although I should say all the assignments you do, they will come to me directly, and I'll be doing all the grading for this course. So really a big thanks and a shout out to Asha for your administrative help and support to me this semester. So thank you for that. Okay, so I want to do an introduction. I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves, again, just so we get to know one another. Before we do that, I'll just go over the class schedule for today. A good practice in project management is to always keep your teams aware of what's coming up, ensuring that everyone can manage their time appropriately. So I'll just go through that with you very quickly. And you'll see that we've divided this evening into 3 parts, essentially. And if anyone's wondering about that backdrop, that's some of your teachers at Tyndale. That was one of the meetings the preparatory meeting that we all had. So you might recognize some of your teachers there. We're going to do an introductory session first. I'll guide you through that. And then we're going to discuss the syllabus and the requirements for you guys in the course. I think you'll be glad to know, I hope you'll be glad to know that I'm giving you your final exam today, day 1. No, not to complete, just so you know. I know what you're thinking, but to develop, the course over the semester, and you'll find that I'm pretty non-traditional when it comes to teaching. I'm a practitioner. I'm not a theoretician, so you'll find that some of my teaching is a little bit non-traditional. Hopefully, you'll get used to it. And we're going to take a quick break then, and then I want to go into 2 sessions that will introduce you to project management concepts that we're going to be discussing this term. This is just to sort of induct you guys into the whole world of project management in international development. And the way you'll get an idea up front, what's going on, how this subject fits within our international development world where I work. And then if we can get through it quickly enough, we might end a little bit early tonight since it's your first night. So we'll just see how that goes. Okay, so great. We're now going to start to get to know each other a little bit. And we're a very small team. And what I'd like to do is just ask if we can go around and give each one of you just a chance to, those of you who are taking the course, an opportunity just to say who you are, maybe a little bit about yourself, or maybe why you're taking this course. And don't forget to unmute your mic. So I don't know, maybe Nicholas, do you want to start?
Okay, my name is Nicholas Mustard. I am majoring in the BA Business Administration course. I used to minor in the PPE, Philosophy, Politics, Economics course, but that was discontinued last year, so now it's just a major in business. The reason I'm doing this course is because I enjoyed doing the intro to international development last semester, and project management and business go very hand in hand together. Like they both work well together. So
Fantastic. All right, thanks, Nicholas. And do you like Nicholas or Nick? What's your
Nicholas, Mustard, whatever you want to call me.
Mustard?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. That sounds great. And maybe Vanessa?
Yeah, so like I said before, I was at Tyndall for a little bit, kind of working and taking classes, and then I took 3 years off. So I'm working full-time now at a marketing firm downtown Toronto, but we've been working from home since March. So things have been a little bit more lax at work. So I feel like now I have a bit more time and hopefully working towards finishing my degree, which is in international development and a minor in business.
Terrific. Great. Thank you, Vanessa. And Sarah, next.
So yeah, my name is Sarah. I'm in third year of international development. I live in Toronto, and when I think of like what kind of job I would want in the international development field, like the first thing that kind of comes to my mind is project management. Hopefully this course will kind of boost that feeling. I'm excited to kind of see what it's all about.
Fantastic. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Sarah. And Joshua.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh. I know a couple of you guys. I know Nick. I saw Nick a couple weeks ago. I just bumped into him. Okay. I'm actually here for similar reasons as Nick. I'm a business major, trying to learn a little bit of project management. I emailed Dr. Tanner just last night, I think, about this course, and he gave me a little bit of information on it. It sounded interesting to me, so I'm here now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I live in Scarborough with my family and my dog. You're probably not going to see my dog. She's a little too big for my lap. She's about as heavy as me. So you may see her trying to get on my lap, but it's probably not going to happen.
It's all good. All good. Thanks a lot, Joshua. Great. And Asha, are you there? Do you want to just say a quick hi or?
Hi guys, so I am Asha. I am a fourth year student at York University right now. I am doing a business global development thing right now, and hopefully I'll be done soon. So if you guys don't want to interrupt Dr. Tanner at any point in your lecture, just tap right into the chat and I'll interrupt him for you. It's great meeting you guys.
Great. Same here. Excellent. And thanks again, Asha. And I'm Dr. Philip Tanner. I'm the president and CEO of Epic Consultancy Limited in my real life. And actually, my logo is right there. You can see it there. And it's a global consulting firm in international development. And I'm actually going to tell you a little bit more about myself, since I'm teaching this course in a minute. But right now, what I'd like to do is just switch over to that Mentimeter program I was talking about, and see if we can learn yet even more about who's on the call. It's just a way of aggregating some data, asking some questions. So if you've got your phone handy or you want to open up another page on your website, just go to menti.com and enter in the code I will give you. Just going to get out of that share. And the code is 6767020. 020. There we go. Okay, so you should hopefully see on your screen the first question. And just to make sure everyone's got on and you guys all have access to it and you know what you're putting in, just write your name there. And maybe while you're at it, just put one interesting fact you haven't mentioned yet, something people might not get to know about you when they first meet you. If it was me, I would be writing, I sing opera, which probably nobody would have imagined. And not just when I'm in the shower, by the way. All right, Nicholas, excellent. 7 pets, great. You're banned from the Toronto Zoo. Oh, okay. All right, before we go, you're going to share that with us and tell us a little bit about that. That is very interesting. Okay. I can only imagine now. I probably won't be able to teach this course because I'll be thinking about that. Okay, and now let's go to the next question. Just to get to know you guys a little bit more in terms of why you're taking the course and development in general. Do you plan to make a career in the relief and development sector? Maybe not right away, but eventually down the road when you retire. Okay, so we got a couple of yeses. Not decided. Okay. And by the way, this is all anonymous, guys. So even I don't know who's answering. This is really just anonymizing data and just aggregating responses. So you get to know who you're working with on a team. But be assured, I cannot see your answers. So if you put something in, it's completely your own. Okay, so 1 no, 2 yeses, not decided. All right. And then how important is a project management course to your future goals? Whatever it is you do plan to do. This, by the way, is one of those really interesting project management methodology tools that we use. It's called Spiderweb or Spiderweb methodology. And we use it a lot in community initiatives that we do in development. There we go. So as people start answering, you sort of see a spatial spread of data on the thing. It's actually better when there's a really big group. When you have a small group, it doesn't work quite as well, but you just get an idea sort of spatially what the group dynamic is around certain issues. Okay, so want to be ready to go overseas, run a project. Just need a basic overview. Okay. Pretty good. Okay. So this is an important one for you. How you want to structure our 3-hour lecture. Lots of different options. Tonight we're going to get a couple of breaks, but you guys have a choice. I'd love to hear back from you on what you prefer in terms of a structure for lectures going forward. No breaks, couple of breaks, 1 break. Again, small group, so there's no majorities or anything, but we've got first period 90 minutes, break 20 minutes, second period 70 minutes. So just 1 break, longer break, and then no breaks at all. So we'll try to work it out to try to, align with what you guys want. I don't want to, bore you with a 3-hour straight lecture. That would be horrible. But I'll try to honor some of this so that you guys can, again, you can manage your time well. And here's one, I love to hear, just because I travel a lot and I love to hear about other people's travel. How many countries have you guys visited? Just roughly. So we got some traveler out there. All right. And what kind of job, what type of job in relief and development would you love to have? Like, what would you say would be your dream job? If you could just pick it now from when you graduate. It could be an agency, or it could be a position title, or it could be a sector, whatever you want. But what would be your dream? Okay, not sure. That's fair. Environmental sustainability, that's a really good one. Lean towards finance. Okay, finance sector, great. All right, well, plenty of need for finance people and certainly environment. Anybody not answer yet? Okay, Sarah's still working on it. Okay, this better be good, Sarah. Okay, maybe something in Nepal helping porters. Wow, okay, that is I would not have seen that coming. But you'll be interested to know, Sarah, that my wife is from Nepal. She actually was born in Kathmandu. So yeah, okay, fantastic. Now I'm going to switch to the next one. We're almost there. So in relief and development, which of these areas would you see yourself working? If you do happen to go into this sector, where would you see yourself? Private sector, public sector, churches? Okay, so all across the board, that's great. Fantastic. Private, public, multilateral, non-government, and foundation. Fabulous. Okay. And here's another one. What qualities do you think would make a good project manager? Just one word. You don't have to write a sentence, but just, what qualities? If you were to have a project manager to work with, what would you be looking for? Okay, time management. That's good. Yep. Patient? Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. Patience. Maturity and resilience. Yeah, certainly for overseas work. Wow. And passionate. Yeah, you need passion to keep going, I'll tell you. Detail oriented. Great. All right, all really, really good. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Great qualities. Which of the following project management activities have you worked on before? Okay, and if you don't know them, don't worry about it. We're going to be talking about all of these different areas throughout the course this semester. But just get a sense if you know any of them, and it's multiple. You can answer, 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter. I think it's unlimited. Okay, business case, SWOT analysis. I figured SWOT analysis. I think everyone's probably done that by second year, I'm guessing. Budgeting, fantastic. Okay, well that's good. That was unexpected. Excellent. And even a grant acquisition, fabulous. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, so I think this is the last one, just to have your say. And, just type in what are some of your expectations from this course, just to help me get a sort of a sense of a compass, in terms of what we'll be delivering this semester. Okay, well, that first one, you're going to get that in heap loads, practical learning. So that's something definitely I'll be addressing this semester. Learn what project management entails in the field of international development. Perfect. And again, definitely going to address that. How to manage resources. Great. Yep. So important. Just to be able to manage any problem that comes my way. And if you join development, by the way, you'll get bucket loads of problems coming your way. Guaranteed. Okay, has everybody answered? Anyone not answered, just put your hand. No, I think you all did, eh? Okay, great. So now what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about me. Since I'm the one who's going to be teaching this course, I thought it might be useful just to have a little bit about who this guy is. You can relate to me a little bit better. So, oops, there we go. So I started my career in development straight out of university. So like you guys, once I graduated, I went straight into the UN. But I graduated from the University of Waterloo, and my specialty was in international politics and development, but it was a political science history joint honors. And by the time I graduated, I must have probably lived in about 35 countries by that time. So that's a little bit about me, guys. And, we can talk more, and I'll share stories and I'll share some experience, throughout the course. Personal experiences of things I've encountered in project management, but that's just to give you a little bit of an idea who's teaching you this course this semester. Now I'd like to just go to the overview of the syllabus, and now this is for you to maybe understand a little better about what it is we're going to be talking about. We have essentially 11 classes for lectures in which to cover various aspects of project management. We have 2 classes that are dedicated to the midterm and the final exams as well. And over the course of our 11 lectures, 10 or 11, I'll be looking at both the project environment, the inner workings of the project, and exploring what makes a good project manager and a project management team. And down the road, some of you, you might find yourself thrown into the field. I say thrown in, sometimes it feels that way. And you'll be managing your own project like I was. And I want to make sure that by the end of this course, you will have the life vest, that life vest necessary to survive being thrown overboard. Because honestly, that's how sometimes it feels for the new person going overseas. And I say that from experience. I was deployed to Burundi, as I told you, and that was a terrible time. And for a young guy to go out there with virtually no experience and being sent basically on your own to work in a place that had suffered so horrendously, it's not an unusual life for an aid worker. I think most people will have similar stories who have joined it. For me, it was a baptism by fire in the relief world. And I just want to make sure that we're not only covering the technical aspects of good management practices, but we're also covering the soft skills that you're going to need to navigate the world of projects, specifically in the international development sector. So I think that's going to cover off some of the expectations you guys raised as well. And you're going to get a sense of the differences you'll come across and why things, they don't always follow the standard project management paradigm. We're going to explore next week the sustainable development goals and how projects, we'll do things like community mapping, putting community stakeholders first in the project life cycle. And we'll be looking at the importance of responding to change positively, adapting to the context, where you might find yourself, whether, a stable, a fragile, or a country that's in conflict. And I'm also going to be pleased to bring in a couple of experts. I'm going to do this from time to time as we go along. On the 24th of September, so please mark it in your calendar, we're going to have two fellows coming on. One of them is from Bangladesh, and one of them is from Ethiopia. And they're going to be sharing a little bit about their experience with knowledge management and monitoring and evaluation and data management as well. And I'm going to try and do this with several guests this term. Hopefully a guy from government, a senior official from government, is going to come in and speak to us as well from global affairs. And it's just a nice way to diversify your exposure. You don't always have to then listen to me. And you'll hear directly from specialists to get different aspects of the work. And I'm going to also take you through the preparation of a proposal. You're going to get this if you take the Project Management 2 course as well. But I want to provide you with a little bit of a taste of that, giving you some important skills that you're going to require to build a project, go through the logic of building a results chain. That it's going to show you how project resources and inputs will be put to good use in order to end up with the right outputs and outcomes that you expected in your original project design. And I want to stretch your knowledge as well by taking you into the world of fundraising for projects. So hopefully, this is touching on all the expectations that you guys were talking about at the beginning. And, understanding the environment in which projects are implemented and funded in reality, right, in practice. And we're going to be examining the pitfalls that people encounter in designing and implementing projects. And we'll be getting started on that proposal writing, at least the basics of writing, just to get you sort of warmed up for next year. And in our last class, I also want to prepare you for that first assignment overseas, assuming that you do go overseas. And whether you're the project manager or you're part of a management team, you're going to be exposed to significant emotional and physical strain when you go into the field. Everyone is. And it doesn't matter really how tough you are, how prepared you think you are. You can be certain that you'll be adapting at every step. All those problems mentioned to Joshua, that you're going to be coming, it's coming your way. One of the key messages I want to convey in this course is that 80% of the work you'll do is based on your character, your emotions, your behavior, your compassion. Okay, only 20% or so is based on what you know or what you think you know. And just keep it in mind, and you'll see as we go along, I'll try to keep coming back to that so you get a sense of what that all means. And if you're wondering why we're covering some of the topics we are in this course, that's the reason. I don't want to prepare you 20% before you launch into your career. I want you to go into it with your eyes open and be prepared to undertake what I think is one of the most exciting careers that anyone could possibly ask for. I've done it for 30 years, and honestly, I would do it again. It's just that amazing a job. And a career in international development, guys, it's a calling. It's not a job. It's not, you don't go in at 9 and leave at 5 o'clock. You're on 24/7. You're serving a higher power by doing this kind of job. And I really want to, accentuate that. So that's the syllabus. I'll just pause there for a second. If anyone has any questions on the syllabus, anything that's missing that you're disappointed, you'd like added, or if you have any comments about it, please feel free.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, what did you just say? You said the 80% and 20%. Could you explain that just a little? I'm taking notes for Rebecca, and I felt like that was an
okay.
point.
Yeah, I'll actually come back to it. Let's park it because I'm gonna come to it in a little bit more detail later in the lecture. But yeah, essentially, I'm just saying that the 20% is around those hard skills, and the 80% is really about your application of your soft skills. That's what I'm talking about. But let me come back to it. It's a great question, and I'll make sure I address it as well. Evaluation and assignments. This is important for you guys about your grades, so you'll want to sit up for this one. A little non-traditional as well. And this is how I'll be doing the evaluation of your progress. And I've split it up in a variety of ways. I don't believe really that sitting you down for a midterm or a final and answering multiple choice, is really going to ensure you get what you need from this course. So I'm going to try and steer away from that. Project management for me, it's about leadership, it's about accountability, insight, collaboration, responsibility. And now in our virtual context, doing it via Zoom, it's going to be tough to have that hands-on experience. I was really thinking I'm coming down there and, we'll be face-to-face and working in some scrums and, working together. But I've decided, not to attempt a virtual arrangement. We're not going to have breakout rooms and things. It doesn't make sense because it's a small group, right? Instead, I'm going to mark you based on participation in class and in your assignments. And I'll be, giving some assignments as we go along, small ones and bigger ones. And that'll be 20% of your mark. And this means that I'll be giving you, probably each week, I'll be giving you a small assignment. That's going to be part of your participation. And then every now and then I'll give you a larger assignment, and that's gonna go under the mark for assignments, okay? And I'll let you know at the time, which one that is. And for this Zoom, we have a chat feature, so I've explained what that is, and I'm gonna try and monitor it, and Asha's gonna do the same. She'll interrupt me if you guys have questions, because I'm gonna try and go fast so we can get out of here. And you'll also have a chance to chat with me via Zoom during my office hours. I've posted 2 days where I have office hours from 2 to 3. But if you guys are interested in WhatsApp, that's another way to reach me. And we can have a fluid conversation. I'm here at your disposal. I really want to be available for you guys. So, it's really up to you if you want to reach out to me. And I know some of you have an email already. I'm going to have 3 written assignments during the semester, actual written ones. And I'll let you know when we're doing that, or when I'm just requesting feedback on something. And it's going to be 10% for each of those assignments, for 3 assignments. And normally I'll give 1 to 2 weeks to hand them in, and they'll be timed around specific classes that we're doing or specific topics that we're going to be addressing. Nothing super arduous, guys. I'm not looking to kill you or to sort of really add to all of the other things you're doing, but it's really assignments to try to get at some of the deeper issues around project management in the field. The midterm's going to be announced, so wait for that. It's going to be 20% of your mark. I'm guessing it's likely going to evolve into a kind of a short answer type exam. So I'm already going to give you, definitions, concepts, project challenges that you'll be asked to analyze and explain. But it's more of a cognitive approach rather than just, regurgitating basically definitions and things like that. There are no specific books for this course. I really thought about this for you guys, but I won't have any books for you, so you won't be expected to refer to anything specifically that I may mention, but you'll need to have read anything that I've posted on Moodle, and you'll see that I've already put a few things on there, and there's some YouTube videos and things that I think will be useful. Those things I might refer to in the exam, but if I mention any books, those are optional, and I won't expect you to have gone out and bought them and read them, so not to worry about that. And as I mentioned, I'm going to give you the final exam outline this evening, so that's coming up, and you'll know what you have to do by the end of the semester. I'm going to be providing a rubric so that you have something to guide you as you prepare for it, and I'll explain the final exam just before we take our first break this evening. So any questions on this part, on the evaluation of the grades? Pretty straightforward, I think. And if you do have any, later on, don't fret about anything. Okay, just text me or come to the office hours, and we can have a one-to-one and talk about it. Just to give you a little more comfort, I'm going to talk about core competencies for the course. You saw it in the syllabus, but I'll just go over it really quick. These are really also my expectations for the course. This is another really important lesson for project managers. I'm going to have tons of them, right? just to make sure that the team knows what their project manager expects from them, expects from their performance over the semester. And it includes what I hope you'll get out of the course as well. So that's the what you'll learn column there. So on the left of the slide, you'll see the core areas of what I'll be covering and what I would expect you to have a fair degree of understanding on and being able to respond to questions about them, just to be really familiar. On the right of the chart, I've provided what I hope you'll learn and remember from this course when you head out to your first assignment. So, you can get lots of facts and figures thrown at you. And, I look back to university, I could barely remember anything. But what I do remember are a few gems or nuggets of some really key professors that I respected and admired. And all that came rushing back to me on my first assignment. So I'm hoping I can at least try to emulate that as best I can and just to get you guys ready. I'll be explaining the project management cycle, and that's, pretty basic, and you'll want to be comfortable in starting the phases of the project cycle. I'm describing what each phase is. That will be in our 4th class, by the way, so 3 more from now. And I'll be challenging you this semester with some basic problem analysis. I'm getting you to do some critical thinking around finding solutions, breaking barriers down to real development challenges in a real context of international development. And, it's going to be difficult virtually, guys. So I'll be using visuals. I'm quite a visual person myself. And, other techniques that I can think of to just get you thinking about those barriers, those challenges in development and how projects can be useful tools to resolve them and find solutions as well. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll also be taking you through the logic of a project, the how-to design, and prepare to implement a project using some tools that are popular in Canada, especially something called the results-based management framework. And because we're Canadian and our government has taken a really strong position in the global conversation around gender equality, feminism, we'll also be looking at the Feminist International Assistance Policy. You guys have got to be really familiar with that. It's also called or referred to as the FIAP. And you've no doubt, I'm sure you've already been introduced to it at some point, or at least I hope you have, as it's a pretty well accepted policy now in Canada. And I'll be looking at the FIAP specifically in terms of project development and management. All right, so it'll always come back to project management. And following from our logic discussions, we'll be tackling the all-important theory of change within a project. And some of you said that you've already touched on that. So we can, be ready for proposal development, preparing budgets, understanding the importance of long-term outcomes that result from projects, what's called behavioral change outcomes, let's say. And next week, we're going to take a deep dive on the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. And these are probably things I hope you've already learned quite a bit about, so it won't be unfamiliar to you. But we'll again be looking at them through the specific lens of the project, okay, and project management, and why SDGs are super important to project work. And also, as I've mentioned already, in addition to your technical skills you'll pick up, I want you to be ready and prepared for your assignment. When I went out in my first assignment, basically there was, little theory and technical stuff that I had to, write my exams on in university. And instead, I was remembering, like I said, those little bits of advice that my profs were passing on to me. That's the kind of stuff that really stuck with me. So you'll figure out your own style and your own methods as well as you go along. And I hope what I'm contributing is just to kind of nudge you to think about, those critical things. So when you're out there, you'll go, oh yeah, I remember we talked about that. You won't remember the names of the methodologies, but you'll remember those little bits of advice, if you like, tips to just be aware of. And I'd like you to have a good understanding of fundraising, donor selection for projects. That's an area I've spent years doing. And it's an area that's critical to many agencies' survival these days. And I think you guys have probably heard about what happened last night with the We charity. I'm sure you saw it on the news. And there was an announcement by the Kielburgers. So, biggest organization, agency, foreign aid agency in Canada, and it's closing its doors. So it's all, especially hard right now with the state of our economy and the uncertainty in the pandemic. So there's a lot of stuff happening. So fundraising and raising money for projects is becoming really a critical skill in our market. I'm sure it'll be there for the next 5 years at least. And if we have time, we're going to look at some qualitative and quantitative methods of assessment. And as I said, I have some folks coming in a couple of weeks who are going to be talking specifically to you about that. And finally, project management is about navigating change and navigating risk. So in the real world, you're going to be up against constant challenges that are going to test your project design, your methods of implementing, and testing you as well. And so as such, we're going to look at how you manage change and why it can be a good and a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing, although it feels that way. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to cover. A lot of it's going to be developing your soft skills, as I mentioned, Sarah. I was talking about that. And you're gonna want to have some exposure to the real international development project experience. So that's what I hope we'll be getting out of this course. So any questions, guys, on the competencies, what you're learning, or anything you think we should add?
I don't so much have a question, but was wondering if maybe you could share those slides just in general.
I will, and thank you. I'm going to post the PowerPoint on Moodle in this week's folder, and I'll also be putting the recorded message on YouTube, and I'll put the link in as well, so anybody who's missed can go over the course again. Having said, there are no required books, guys, for the class, and that's, again, possibly because you need a break in spending your limited budget. And by the way, that's another important characteristic of a good project manager. So I hope I'm being a good one by not making you go out and spend loads of money on books that you probably don't need for this course, although I could have. But having said that, there's two books that I'd recommend to you as optional reading, okay? So you don't have to go rushing out and buying it. One is the book, the thick book that I talked about. And if you learn it all, you'll get ready for being certified in project management. That's this one. Okay, if you can see it, PMBOK. I mean, it's pretty thick. And if you buy that, you're gonna be ready to go to get that exam and certification. But it's dry. It doesn't all apply to the real context. I probably went through it and maybe I knew like half. Really hadn't, and I've done project management a good part of my career. But the one that I'd really recommend to you, and this may make you laugh, but it's the one I took on my first assignment, and it got me through the first 6 months of my position, and that's this one. If you guys have ever gone to these books for dummies, this one saved my life more times than I can tell you. So if you do want to go out and buy a book, it's 25 bucks, but honestly, everything is there, everything that you need to know. And this is the other one that I mentioned to you, but you can see the price differential is quite big. So you can be a nerd and buy the expensive one, a project management nerd, as we say, or you can become the practitioner. I guess that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I told you I'm going to give you your final exam, and then guys, we're going to take a quick little break. Just want to go through this with you now so that you have it. I'm going to give you the general guide up front for what your final exam is going to be about. And you're basically going to have the whole semester now to get ready for its submission, okay? So as you learn and go through everything. Okay, so this is going to be your final exam. So basically, I want you to use as many project management methods and knowledge and definitions and terms as possible to construct your final submission, okay? The stuff we're going to learn and turn over in this class. And I'll be teaching the techniques, and you won't be required to use anything in your submission that hasn't been covered in my lectures or in the material that I'm going to post for you in Moodle. Your exam is going to be a document of 5 pages, okay? So it's not arduous, it's not too long. I want you to be nice and succinct, plus any annexes that you want to include. So, you want to add photos, logic models, tables, budgets, all the stuff like that. You can add as many as you want to your annex. Keep it reasonable, but that's not going to infringe on your 5 pages. Your 5 pages is your discussion, your theory of change, if you like, for getting to where you're going to go. It's all about you. So this final exam is going to be your life, where you think you're going to be, say, in the next 5 years. Okay, so you're going to set a goal for yourself. You're going to set your targets, where you want to end up, and you're going to use the methods, the techniques, the tools that we're going to teach in this course to design a business case. Essentially, you're going to have to use a business case and showing what the risks are, how you're going to mitigate those risks, who your stakeholders are that are going to enable you to get where you want to be. Okay, and I'm going to ask you to submit the final document, that final exam, at least a week in advance of the final exam date. And I'm still confirming that with the dean, so hopefully I'll let you know in the next week or two. Then I'm going to have you come on the exam day in a one-to-one Zoom call with me. Okay, we're going to go one by one, and we're going to have you present your case. Okay, the 5 pages that you gave me, and we're going to take 30 to 45 minutes to talk about your exam. It's like a viva almost for a thesis. And I'm going to ask questions of clarity at that time, how you came to those conclusions, challenge you a little bit on your tools that you used and your methods. I'm going to give you a rubric as well, so don't worry. I'll give that in the next several weeks, and you'll be able to use it to confirm what, that you've covered everything, and you'll be able to rate yourself before submitting the document. So I really think, you'll all have a chance to do really well in this course. I'm going to be as transparent as possible with you so that you have a chance to, always monitor yourself, your self-performance as we go along. And it's going to really come down to whether you've attended the classes, you've understood the materials, use my office time. If you have any doubts at all, I'm always available, so don't worry about that. And that you've participated in the class and assignments. That's really where it's going to come down. So at this point, guys, let me just ask if there's any questions on the final exam, remembering that, we still have a few weeks to discuss this in my office hours, and we can, go into a little bit more detail if you want. But anything that sort of pops up right now or worries you? No, we're good? Okay. Well, feel free to anytime to contact me about it. But for now, oops, I should have, I guess, given you that as well. Anyway, you'll see that. There's always extra clicks on these slides. Okay, guys, we're going to take 10 minutes, and I'll see you back here then, eh?